I believe it was the great Hannah Montana that once said, everybody makes mistakes, everybody has those days. And if you're a beginner reptile keeper, you will too. So it's important to pick the best reptile for you. So today, let's go over the top 5 mistake-proof reptiles. My name's Adam, this is Diamond. You're watching Wickens Reptiles. Stick around. I realize how silly of an intro that was, but at the end of the day, the reason I'm making this is not to say, do anything with these reptiles willy-nilly, it's gonna be fine, don't worry about it, don't put thought into it, whatever. The reason I'm making this video is because no matter how much you try, no matter how much you research, you're just not gonna know what you're doing, and there's things that you don't even know that you don't know until you've been in it for a little while when it comes to reptiles. So don't go and get a delicate reptile and you don't understand why they're feeling sick a week later or a month later, or even how to notice that, and then you find them at the bottom of the cage on their back because you didn't notice because you didn't know what to look for. I promise you, when I first started, if I got a really difficult reptile and I saw it, kind of at the bottom of the cage when it shouldn't be, and maybe it was a little lethargic, but it was just little bits, I probably wouldn't have noticed the way that I could notice now because I have a bunch of experience. So this isn't to shame anybody, and this isn't to say don't put tons and tons of effort in, because you definitely should. With that, I think I've done enough talking. Let's just get started. Number 5. Ackie monitors. Now this might seem crazy, and I'm not saying this video is just for beginners. I'm saying this video is for people who maybe don't have tons and tons of time to get something like, say, a Jackson's chameleon where it needs a certain level of humidity and then a night drop, and if it doesn't get that night drop, you know what I mean? So these are just easier reptiles. And the reason that Ackies are easy is because if someone's interested in monitor lizards, for example, their go-to is gonna be, well, I want Asian water monitor. Like, why wouldn't you? Look how big these things are. These are wild monitors and just standing beside in Thailand. So imagine how cool they'd be in captivity. But can you take care of a 6-foot or bigger lizard? Probably not. So if you want all of the cool Varanus in a smaller package, then get yourself an Ackie monitor. All Ackies have the same thing in common. They're compact size. Now they can get a little girthy, and there's some things to watch out for, but at the end of the day, if you give them high basking temperatures, I'm talking 130 Fahrenheit, 130 Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Please do not roast your Ackie monitor. So, high basking spot, give them lots of UVB. They're gonna need a 10.0 or even a 12.0 or 14.0 bulb, depending on how high it is, of course. Give them the right substrate, give them a big enough enclosure, and the right food, and that's basically it. They're really, really easy, and they're not prone to a ton of things that can go wrong, except for one thing I want to address. If you don't give them the proper UVB, stuff that's hard around, like rocks and things like that, bricks, whatever, for them to rub their knuckles on when they're shedding, they can lose their fingertips, lose their nails, or just their fingers in general, which is what you see here with Susan, my Ackie monitor. I got her this way. This did not happen in my care. Now, this is not life-threatening usually, so it's okay. She just doesn't climb or dig as much, but in general, Ackie monitors are really fun. They can be really handleable, and in terms of what you think of as a monitor, oh, they're big and scary. Like, they're not big, they're not scary, and generally they're gonna be pretty chill most of the time. We've never done an Ackie monitor care guide. Should we do one? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button while you're down there. Lets me know that you want it. Number 4, the noisy things you hear behind me, tortoises. I love tortoises. The problem is most people can't handle the big boys, sulcatas, because they're so big. But there's a lot of really great options for tortoises, and what they all have in common, or most of them that I can think of, I'm talking about the ones that are common: cherryheads, redfoots, and yellowfoots, Herman's tortoises, Greek tortoises, leopard tortoises, things like that. They're really hardy. A lot of them are so hardy that they can get down into almost negative degree. Don't put them below freezing. I'm just saying they are in the wild tolerant to very cold temperatures and very hot temperatures. Some of them can do very high humidity and very low humidity. But again, this is captivity, so always do your research and figure it out. Okay, I want a redfoot tortoise. That means that it needs to be at this temperature and this humidity and this basking spot, and give them that. Always do your freaking best. Always, always, always. But with that said, they're going to be a lot more tolerant to making mistakes. Let's suppose you're somebody who goes on vacation, right? You go for a week and you have someone come in 2 or 3 times. I do this all the time, right? And I got lots of reptiles. And you want to get a tortoise. So you have a tortoise inside an enclosure, outside, whatever. And let's say that there's a freak storm. I don't know, the lights go out or something like that. If they don't have UVB for a day or 2 days or 3 days. If the temperature gets down to, I don't know, in the 50s for some species, Fahrenheit, of course not Celsius, then they're probably going to be okay. You're probably not going to have any issues if you're using the tortoise species that I'm talking about, which are the really common ones. Now, if you're going to write in the comments section, well, what about this obscure tortoise? Like, I'm talking about common species. They're outside, but it's getting pretty cold tonight, so I put them just in a bin for now until I can put them outside, and they're just super loud. But look how cute they are. Cherry heads are my favorite, and I'm so happy I get to have them. Also, they're mostly herbivores. I mean, cherry heads and redfoots, yellowfoots will eat a little bit of protein, but just getting a big boulder dog, which is a sulcata tortoise, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I love tortoises. Number 3. Hognose snakes. I love hognose. Now, we're gonna focus on plains hognose, formerly western hognose, really easily found in captivity. Now, if you're someone who really wants a hognose snake that loves high humidity, tricolors are beautiful. They're amazing. I'd love to have one in my collection. I've never had one. The problem is tricolors naturally live a really short lifespan. We're talking 8 years on average, and they're a little bit more fragile. But with western hognose snakes, a lot of the time, once you get them eating, because the really hard part is as babies out of the egg, it's kind of you have to trick them. I've never found one of my hognose just die randomly, ever. There's other species where sometimes, you know, they'll just die, and this can happen with hognose. It's just way less common. Sure, they can get respiratory infections and fungal infections and everything, but so can you or I. So can every species. They're just much less likely. Not only that, but as a pet, think of an animal that's going to be, you know, 3 feet if you get a big female, so really small, 1.5 feet as a male, something like that. They like to burrow. They have that cute little shovel face. I mean, look how freaking cute it is. There's so many morphs. It seems like there's a new morph every freaking weekend that I go to an expo. It's like, what the heck is that, you know? So it's super easy to take care of them, and they're really rewarding. And if you want to be like, really, I'm a cool guy, I got a venomous snake, but it's really not going to hurt you. Hognose snakes, they're rear fang venomous, so they're not going to kill you for sure. I mean, if they do bite you, which is really uncommon, by the way. Every time I've heard of anyone getting bit by a hognose snake, it's because they think that you're food. They're never going to bite you, or very, very, very rarely going to bite you out of defense. Oh yeah, also sometimes they'll play dead to get, like, these. I can't say enough good things about hognose snakes. It's literally the logo for my channel, for my brand. I love them. They're amazing. They're very tolerant to making any sort of mistakes. Basically, keep them at a proper humidity level, but if it gets too humid for too long, that's when you start to see issues. But let's say they spill their water bowl over and it gets really humid in there for 2 or 3 days, they're gonna be fine. Just, of course, do your research. Don't leave them for a week without checking. I'm just saying, if a mistake were to happen, they're kind of bulletproof in comparison to other species. Number 2, fat-tailed geckos. Boy, oh boy, fat-tailed geckos are on the rise in popularity. Now, everyone knows what a leopard gecko is, and leopard geckos fit in this category too. So everything I say, fat-tailed geckos, African fat-tailed geckos, is basically the same, except for African fat-tails. Well, they come from Africa, and they like it a little bit more humid. Otherwise, they're basically the same. Same sort of setup, basically. They're gonna have the same sort of foot structure, a little bit different. They have usable eyelids. They have that fat tail that does regrow but looks funny. They have a bunch of morphs. They're so freaking similar. Now anyway, they're really easy. They're not prone to a lot of issues. And even the stuff that they're prone to, sometimes I've seen this like one time basically, stuck shed. It's all really easy stuff for you to take care of or take to a vet to take care of. So I just think they're amazing animals. They're kind of perfect for most people, and they're underrepresented in the hobby. I'm really getting into them. I'm really happy to have the collection that I have, and I love handling them too because they're just super cute and super fun. And number 1, mistake-proof reptile, butterfly agamas. What? But Adam, you've never talked about, but I know, and I really should because they're super underrated. I can't believe that these aren't more popular. Imagine the size of a bearded dragon, similar, of course, not exactly the same, with similar type of specifications, but they have a, like not leathery, but like silky looking skin. They look so interesting. So adorable in their faces. Their face looks almost like Euromastics. They're super cool. They're way underrated. I want one so bad. The problem is I just don't have room. And the reason for that is they need the same size enclosure as a bearded dragon. But their care is going to be similar to, I'm going to pull out a reference if you've been watching the channel for a while, plated lizards. Sudan and plated lizards are basically the same in terms of care as a butterfly agama. So the butterfly agamas, their humidity level is gonna be pretty low, 30 to 50%, generally on the low side. They're gonna be omnivorous, so just like a bearded dragon, they're gonna eat insects and they're gonna eat vegetables, greens, and things like that. This is not a care guide, of course, do your own research. Basking spot, 95, 100. They like it pretty warm. They don't really like it super cool, but they can tolerate night drops. These are really cool animals. Most people just don't have them because there's not a lot of captive breeding going on, even though you can bring them in from the wild still. So I like them. I think that they're mistake proof in a way. I just think that once we have more of a supply, the demand is going to follow with it. And I really think that they're amazing. So if you ever have the opportunity to buy one captive bred and you're ready for one, the whole thing, right? You've done your research and everything, you have a space, I can't say anything bad. Butterfly agamas are underrated and I love them. So let me know in the comment section below as you hit the like button. Really appreciate that. It really does help the channel, by the way, what you think the most mistake-proof reptile is, and give me an idea for next week's video. All the video ideas come from you guys. You guys form how the channel goes. As always, a special thanks to the Patreon supporters. You guys get one-on-ones with me. I got 3 of them this Friday. I'm really excited about that. All that and more for as little as $1 a month, and that's it. I do videos on Mondays and Thursdays, so I'll see you in the next one.